Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm here to talk about the most personal thing in my life as Midnight Shadow. And however, what I came here to talk about was the wizardry of Wiccan magic, not magic. And throughout my life, I would have to say that Wiccans and witches and warlocks and magic to dark magic to light magic to fire magic to just any typical type of spell magic and all the type of supernatural and mystical things that could ever happen in my lifetime were, however magnificent, they were superstitious, but in all suspicion, they were kindly great. And as you see this picture here, this medallion or this pendant of a pentagon or pentacle, I forgot what it was called. Oh yeah, it's a pentacle. And I hate how people see the pentagram as an evil thing, as a thing of Satan worship, but that's not really how it, really goes down. It's the pentacle is not really anything. It's not, evil or good, light or dark. It's just those who flip it to look like the goat's head or the ram's head or however you want to see it as superstitious or the factor of 666 and Satan and I forgot what it's called, satanic rituals and satanic cults. And however, I'm not part of any of those cults. I'm not part of anything that has to do with satanic worship or the devil or the beast's numbers of 666. Sorry, kind of choking here. It is kind of high in my house as the current moment, but however, I just wanted to talk about this emblem or this picture right here because I have written a story about it a long time ago when I was at the age of 13, and this story is highly personal to me, but I'm willing to actually read it to you guys to give you the fulfillment of just how good of a writer I was and how good I am going to get back into writing and alongside Lomerta and just everybody else that I have, done YouTube with, and none of them can actually really step up to the factor of how my life went and how I did things and how I'm like really vigorous about any type of typical object or how a scenario plays out, because my life is kind of like an open book, but not too open, because you still have to flip through the pages and you have to get chapter by chapter by chapter done, because each and every day is a page that is flipped. It's a new page day by day by day, because something new always happens. And it may be the same thing, it may be different, it may be catastrophic, it may be tantrous, it may be dangerous, it may be safe or loving or romantical. But however, as you see, life is, pages. Like, days are pages, weeks are, I want to say, not chapters, but weeks are pretty much the skip ahead, thing. The flashbacks into, how things, came to be as they are. To see them as despite the factor of a doubt. But however, I want to say, like, days are pages, weeks are skips, or to look back into the past, which is I don't want to say foreseeing. I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it was called. Eventually, I'll get to it. Eventually, to what it was actually called. Oh, they're called flashbacks. Yeah, flashbacks. And however, I see months as chapters, like turning a new chapter. It's a new season, maybe the same season, but it's a new chapter, it's a new month. And however, the story I've written was called Wiccan, and it's about, I think, 3 chapters long, so I might turn into the factor of doing the first chapter as one part, the second chapter as a second part, and the third chapter as a third part, because however, when I was 13, I used to write a lot of stories, and one that I'm really critically famous for, but I didn't really get to publish yet, which were two things that I have written down. 2 things that I have written, taken massive amounts of hours, days, weeks, months, a year even, maybe even 2 years, but However, the two stories that I've written were Alpha and Omega. No, it doesn't have anything to do with the animated movies, and I hate it when people say that, oh, this is all about those animated movies, because back then when I was writing Alpha and Omega, I was in a detention room, or as they call it nowadays, an SSI, which was in school suspension. Or no, not SSI, it was, what was it called? Yeah, ISS. I think that's what it was called. I'm sorry for SSI. That's just really ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm really exhausted. It is like, what, 1 something in the morning? Well, let me check. Yeah, it's 1:34. It's half an hour to 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm really exhausted. I've been doing nothing but recordings of different types of video games and just different things with Lamarta. And, because of the humid heat, it's kind of exhausting. It kind of brings a lot of fatigue to me. And however, as I said, I wanted to do the story. By far, it should be interesting for you guys. I'm sorry, I'll move this real quick. And by far, it should be interesting for you guys. But the story that I wrote at first was called Alpha and Omega. Again, it doesn't have anything to do with that animation of Alpha and Omega where the two wolves, fall in love and, they try to reconnect the tribe by falling in love so the tribes don't go at war with each other. But however, this story actually does not have anything to do with that. It has to do with different things because I've always had a fonding for wolves and the supernatural and how, Indians and different tribes see wolves as, a supernatural being, a, good luck giver or a harbinger, or a death dealer. But however, I've always been interested in one particular wolf, which was a white wolf. So I embolized myself into the story of Alpha and Omega as a human character. But my other character meets up with this human character. And I wish I had the entire first thing, but unfortunately, a person that I don't want to, exclaim their name because of privacy reasons and safety for themselves, because I don't talk to them anymore, but I don't want to mention their name under all, safety acts and, to keep them out of, my life because I don't want anything to do with them. I know it might sound harsh, but it's not Lamarta. Just to let you know that it's one of my exes, but I don't want to, say their names because under the protection and for the factor that I don't want them to be involved in my life or see this video and, try to get in contact with me because that would be tremendously harsh or tremendously critical because it would be just triumphant. But however, as I saw white wolves be something as a very spiritual creature, I embolized myself as Leafpaw, which is the white wolf, which is the alpha male or the alpha leader of the alphas in the story, but I don't really say like which one is alpha, who's alpha or omega. And as Leafpaw being a alpha or an alpha leader, he critically takes the factor of his life, and as it's written by me, I can't tell you guys the entire story because I don't have it, and trying to sum it up for you guys is kind of difficult because I'm trying to brainstorm the factor of, what I've written down, how I remember it, and how I've written it. But Leafpaw just tries to go through day-to-day life on taking on demons, spirits, and just trying to become the best alpha leader as he can. And I've written more sequels to the Alpha and Omega series, such as Alpha and Omega Turning Time or Alpha and Omega Back into the Past, which Alpha and Omega Turning Time and Back into the Past are two different stories because they take place during the same time or the same events, but in two different perspectives, as Turning Time takes place in the eyes of Leafpaw's son, and Back to the Past takes place with Lilytail's daughter. And I know I haven't explained like all the characters. There's Leafpaw, Lilytail, Frosttail, and a whole bunch of there's Oxford, and there's like a bunch of fucking characters in this story. I'm sorry, my ear is kind of irritating me. But there's a bunch of characters in the story, and there's going to be a hell of a lot new because I want to try to rewrite the first book. But now again, the second story I wrote was Wiccan, and I was 13